couple of years ago, when I broke the world record for distance for paper airplanes, I made a promise that I was going to post the instructions for that paper airplane right here on this YouTube channel. The time has come, and I'm also starting a brand new series of videos based on the new World Champion Paper Airplane book and the classics, the Fantastic Flight and Gliding Flight books. So here we go. Without further ado, the folding instructions for the best paper airplane in the world, Suzanne. We're going to take the top and put it against the side. And if you're going for any kind of competition, this time let's get a little more serious. We're going to use the folding tool. We're going to really nail that crease. This is our folding bone that you saw in the Getting Started video. Unfold that. We're going to make a diagonal fold the other direction. And incidentally, I'm holding the paper so that it just stays, square to the camera. You might want to spin this around as you're making these creases. It might be sort of awkward for you to do this, but feel free to move the paper around. I'm just doing this for the camera so you can make sense of the direction the paper's oriented. A lot of times I'll spin it around as well. Okay, so now we've got nice sharp creases going through the paper. It's an X. We're going to take one side and lay it against the crease. I'm going to zoom in here now and show you that I am just leaving a little bit of space. I'm going to shut one of the lights off so you can kind of see this better. I'm leaving just a little bit of space, about 1.5 millimeters, maybe 2 millimeters at the most, between that edge and the crease. You can kind of see that there. When I turn the other light on, the lighting becomes a little bit too flat. You can't really make it out. But I'm leaving just a little breathing room there so that when you start folding the layers over each other again, they won't bunch up. You want everything to lay nice and flat. You want the sharpest configuration you can on this. And if I back out, you can see that I'm just laying that whole edge right against the X there, making a really sharp crease. Going to unfold that. Then we're going to do the same thing to this side. Put that side right against this other diagonal crease here. And again, I'm leaving the same amount I left before. Try to be precise with that. If you've gone 1 millimeter on the other side, go about the same amount on this side. Go 1 millimeter on this side as well. If you ended up at 2 millimeters on the other side, go 2 millimeters here. Symmetry is the main thing. You want those layers to be, flat, and you want them to be exactly the same configuration. So there we go. We've made a diagonal fold that way, this way, taken these guys to the diagonal, and now we're going to leave this one folded this time. Fold over the top there. It doesn't really matter which one you put over the top of the other one. That's not a problem. And now we're going to fold right straight down along, just so that we meet this corner right here. We're going to fold the top down. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. And you can line these edges up here. You want this crease here to line up with the crease just below here. So you want it to be one continuous line as it goes along here. And so you'll be just to this side of this raw edge here, this raw edge that we left just short. You're going to be just on the other side of that, and you're going to be lined up with the creases. Now, you'll notice when you do that, you start to get bubbling here. What you want to do is try to press this as flat as you can as you make this crease, so that the wings will lie even more flat than before. Now, if you folded the other plane that was really just kind of fun with a locking fold on it that required no tape, we didn't really go this slowly here, but you can see I'm going slowly now. I'm lining up all the creases. We're getting serious. We're making a plane that's really going to win some contests here. So now we're going to follow this crease, and we're going to unfold that, and then we're going to follow this crease, and we're going to unfold that. Now, why would I do that? Well, you can see that we haven't made the center crease on the plane yet. And now when I fold these together, the layers will bunch at exactly the same rate. And now I can leave those guys together, and I'll flip this around and fold it in half, and I'll nail the front edge here, and then I'll start to get this rear edge going here. And it's really more important, once you kind of get the nose nailed, to get this rear corner back here just perfect. You want to get that totally lined up and then nail your crease. And then at this point, you want to go over the whole plane with this folding bone and sharpen these creases. Really important to sharpen this leading edge here. Let me zoom in here and show you what I'm doing now. The way that I'm doing this, I'm going from where these layers meet right here and raking down toward the nose. That is really important. You don't want to rake back this way yet. If you do, you'll fall off this edge here, and you can put a hole in the wing right there. So press pretty hard, raking forward down the nose. Flip it over and do that again. Rake really hard right down the nose. And again, you want to start just downstream of where the layers end here. You can kind of do a braille method, kind of hang on to it right there, and rake down like that. And you want to flatten everything. This crease right here on the bottom of the plane, make sure that's nice and flat. Make sure we're flat here. Make sure the fuselage fold is flat. I'll just rotate it a little bit so I can just sweep straight down. Everything wants to be really crisp, really crisp. Big key to making a competition plane. Now we're going to make wing folds. And I always I don't know why I do it this way, but I always start with the nose pointed to the left, and I do this wing first, which is actually going to be the left wing of the plane. So I always start with very close to the nose, right about here, and then I keep an eye on this raw edge right here, and we're going to roll that over so this raw edge just kisses that corner. It's just going to be right there. Now, I'm doing something that's not obvious here. I'm using my thumb as I roll that over to bunch these layers up here so that this top layer can't slide. If I go like that, see how that top layer can just slide away? We don't want that. That's bad news. So you want to hold that with your thumb or another finger. Hang on to that. Keep an eye on that. And we're starting really close to the nose. You don't have to be right on the nose. You can give yourself a little bit of space there. And roll that over just so that raw edge just touches the corner. There's the corner. And we're just touching the corner. That's how you get your wing fold consistent every time. That's the marker right there. And we're not going to crease this edge yet. We're going to do that in just a minute. First, we're going to flip this over. Make sure that our layers are nice and clean there. Kind of lean on that from this side. Now we're going to break over right here. You can have a look at that. Make sure you're breaking over at the right place. I can use my thumb to just kind of make sure that that's happening on the right point there. Lay it back down, and then start to roll that over. And again, we want these layers to line up perfectly on the wings here. We want the wings to match just perfectly. Most important thing on a competition plane that you're going to throw very hard is that these creases right here meet precisely in the same place. Fractions of a millimeter count at the tail of the plane. If that's off at all right there, that's bad news. So you want that to be very, very precise. It just needs to feel like one sheet of paper at the back of the plane. Okay, now, we're starting to get kind of that wing shape that we want. And I'm going to bring in my clip device here, my bag clip. I'm just going to clip that on there, and we can kind of see what this plane is starting to look like. And when we do final adjustments here, this front of the plane is going to have a really shallow dihedral angle, and these wingtips are going to rake up more. And it's starting to happen there. You can kind of see it's starting to rake up as it goes toward the tail of the plane. That's exactly what you want. Okay, and it'll do that naturally if you just kind of flex the middle of it a little bit, and don't flex the front too much. You can press the front down just a touch and flex up in the middle here and kind of get that dynamic dihedral angle going. It's kind of a curvy, kind of cool, kind of swept looking wing.